Hello everyone and welcome back to BikeMatters. My name's Brett and I've got a new road test review for you. This is the Super Soco CPx electric scooter and it's time for me to take it out on the road and have some fun. So let's take it off that centre stand. The ignition is all ready to go. We've got ready appeared there, so that means I pull this throttle back and away we go. So here we go on the Super Soco CPx. So yeah, this is an electric scooter. It is an equivalent to a 125cc machine, which means it is learner friendly and can be ridden on a CBT from the age of 17 in the UK. Now, as we go past this learner who's just stalled it, let's talk about that electric power. So, start off with the motor. It is a hub motor that is in the rear wheel. Now, it's Super Soco's own design motor that is 4 kilowatt in power, maxing out at 4.8 kilowatt. Now, when we actually get to the kind of performance spec of it, it's where electric scooters and motorcycles get a bit awkward to kind of talk about, because it's got 5.3 brake horsepower, yet 46.5 newton meters of torque. That's all just how it's all kind of recorded, really. But on this review, we're going to talk through the power and the modes and how it does. Because 46.5 newton meters of torque, yet it's a very gradual accelerator. It's definitely one best for towns and cities. It's not the fastest of machines. But yeah, it has that 5.3 brake horsepower, 46.5 newton meters of torque, but we'll go through just how it performs on the road ride. The batteries, this is where it gets a bit muddly, so I'll try and keep to a decent order. You can buy the CPx either with a single battery or double battery. If you want it with a single battery in the UK, with the use of a government grant, this scooter will cost you £3,599. Now, if you want the dual battery, it's going to cost you £4,699, again with the use of a grant. The prices without the grant will appear on screen now. Thank you very much, Jake. So yeah, now the batteries are 60 volt 45 amp hour batteries, which take 3 to 4 hours to charge up each. Now you can take the batteries out of the scooter and charge them where you wish with a 3-pin plug, or you can put the power lead into the front of the seat and it will charge both batteries up for you. But yeah, it will take 3 to 4 hours of charging time per battery. Now, as range goes, Super Soco state you should get 44 miles of range per battery. So with 2 batteries, you should be getting over 80 miles in total. But obviously that is manufacturer stated and in certain circumstances. So if you're pinning this everywhere you go, you know you're not going to be getting such good numbers. It's going to drop down. I've been on country lanes. Most of the time I'm doing, 50, 56 miles an hour on this where possible. So my consumption, I think, is about 60 miles, or range is 60 miles on the 2 charged batteries. But you've got to remember, this is an electric scooter perfect for towns and cities. And the really cool thing about it is, you think about this is used a lot as a delivery scooter. I mean, a lot. There's many fleets out there made up of CPXs. And with the 2 battery system on this, it means that you could, if you're delivering, you could have one battery on the go while the other one's charging. So you've always got a charged battery ready to go. And because the CPX can actually reach top speed with a single battery, that's a really cool thing as well, which kind of sets it above some of the other competitors out there. A lot of the ones, if you go for a single battery, it then limits the top speed, but not with the CPX. The use of the second battery is purely to increase that range from about 40 to around 80 miles. But as I say, that is there stated. But we know from a blast on this, you should be getting 60 miles, maybe a bit more, especially if you're quite conservative with this. You probably should be getting close to that 80-mile range. But I've just been blasting it on the country lanes. Now, as we're going along, there's no one near me at the moment. Let's do a bit of a brake test, shall we? So at the front is that 240mm disc, to the rear is a 180mm disc, and it runs combined braking system. So let's not do it near a junction, that's not so good of an idea. Let's just do it a little bit past. See, no one's about. Let's throw on those brakes. And it brakes really nicely. Now I do find you kind of feel, pulling the levers, you feel resistance quite early on. But I find you want to just power past that resistance, because you kind of feel like the resistance, oh, it should brake heavily, but it doesn't. You kind of just have to force it a bit more. But it does brake really well. It could be better, you know, it's definitely not perfect. You do kind of have to be forceful with it, and it would be great to have ABS. But yeah, the brakes are adequate. There you go, throw them on. It's got combined brakes, even though I'm forceful on that back, it's not actually locking, which is quite good. Now the suspension is doing an alright job. It's slightly on the firmer side, so you feel the bumps and that, but I am on a country lane where it shouldn't be. The seat is nice and comfortable. The seat is 760mm high, which is quite an accessible seat height, but it's well padded and it's quite wide. So I'm 5'6" and I can't get both my feet flat on the floor. I can get most of my feet on the floor, but it's not completely flat, so it's something to be wary of. If you are shorter and interested in this, it's always best to have a sit in a showroom or where possible to get a good feel for it and see if it fits you well. So as I look at the car in front of me and see it's got a big old storage container on top, let's talk about storage on the CPx, shall we? So under that seat is enough space for a few small items, and literally that. At the moment I've got a GoPro, some batteries, and a few bits and pieces like that. There's really not a lot, because most of the unseat storage is taken up by 2 batteries. Obviously you have a single battery, you get a bit more space, but you're not going to be fitting a helmet under there. So that's something to be aware of with the CPx. We do, on the back of this leg shield, have this small little cubby hole without a door to it. Again, enough of a few small items, but you're probably really not going to do too much with it. Just above that, I know it's not storage, but it's a cool little bit, we have a USB charging port. Now, although talking about storage and lack of, you might think, oh, that's not a great option then. However, the CPx sells in massive numbers at the moment because people love it for the use in fleets, especially for delivery use, such as groceries, fast food, courier, like courier drivers, courier riders even. So yeah, and why is that? Well, it's quite decent proportions, the CPx. It's not a small scooter, it's quite decent dimensions on this. You feel nice and upright, but it's more than adequate to take a big top box on the back. So for those kind of delivery riders out there, this is why the CPx is so popular. And obviously being electric, it's very economical, a penny a mile. You know, with a range of up to 80 miles, this is going to cover a lot of couriers really well. Now it's really cool to say at this point of the video, while on the CPx, which is an electric scooter, a very popular electric scooter, and also one that is utilised for delivering use, there are friends over at Lexham Insurance who power us here at BikeMatters also are great for insurance rates on electric scooters and small capacity motorcycles for delivering use. So as I mentioned earlier, there's a nice cool little discount of £20 for a policy taken out of Lexham. Well, if you're looking for a quote for an electric scooter or for delivering use, then make sure to check them out, because they're one of very few in the UK who have excellent rates on both of those. Right, so let's talk about battery management system and the riding modes. Now, let's turn this on by hitting that large Super Soco logo on the key fob. And as you can see there, let's go to that battery management system first of all. As you can see, A is the first battery, B is the second battery, and it's saying we've got 99%. Now, we'll only show less than that once it goes down to just the one battery. So at the moment, we're halfway through battery, or almost halfway through battery 1. How it was set up, it only uses one battery at a time until you get to the last 20% of either battery. Now, for battery 1, or battery A here, we'll get down to 20%, and then it will switch over to using battery B, and that will take that down to 20%, and it's only when there's both batteries with 20% in that they will work together to get you that last bit of distance. But I think they do that deliberately so each battery doesn't go down to complete zero power, because that's not good practice to do for the longevity of the batteries. Now if we go over to the right hand side here, this is the mode that we're in currently. Now Mode 1 is Eco, and that'll take you to about 27 miles an hour. If you go to Mode 2, that's normal, and that'll take you to about 41 miles an hour. And then there's Mode 3, which will take you up to about 56 miles an hour top speed when the batteries are doing really well. Now, there is also 2 other modes, and I'm going to show you that by just taking off its centre stand. So this little R button here, if I hold that in, or press it once and then second time hold it in, you can see that's not an A, that is an R for reverse. So holding that in on reverse, I'm going to pull the throttle back and the bike is reversing. So yeah, this has got a reverse mode. Now if I let go of the throttle and let go of reverse, it's gone into F, which is forward mode, but forward is like a walking mode. So if I pull the throttle now, we're walking. So imagine this is just for manual handling purposes, the reverse and the forward. Now, if I double tap the reverse button, you can see it's put me back onto mode 3. So that's just something to be wary of. If you put it in reverse, like so, and let go, it then automatically goes into F, which is a walking mode. So just quickly double tap the reverse button and away you go back in the normal mode. Now the LCD panel is nice, clear and obvious. We've got temperature, we've got clock, we've got the rider mode, we've got speedometer, we've got range, we've got odometer and the battery management system. And along the bottom here we've got our typical dash lights. Now the CPx comes in 3 colourway options. We have the black here, but there's also a grey and also a silver option too. Right, so I've just put us into mode 1, which takes us to a top speed of 27 miles an hour. And as you can see, the range it predicts 155 miles. Let's flip it to mode 2. Instantly a bit more kick of power there. Up to 36, 39, 40, 41, 42. I think that's going to be us. We're going downhill so we get a tad more. But yeah, so 42 in mode 2. And then mode 3 will get us up about 56. Now to be honest with you, I just have this in mode 3 all the time. I wouldn't bother about changing it, but I suppose if you're in a big city it might become handy where you just want to restrict it and keep to mile per hour speed limit. One thing I would say on the CPx, the seating position is all quite comfortable. My arms, wrists are comfortable. I've done well over 14 miles on the scooter so far today. But the floorboard doesn't give much room for your feet. So at the moment, my size 9 boots are touching the back where the seat starts and the front of the leg shield. So there's not a lot of leg room there. I kind of feel, looking at the back of that leg shield, there should be proper bits designed there to have your feet in a more upright position, to be honest with you. At the moment you can't really put your feet there flat because of the curvature of that leg shield. But it kind of feels like, if I show you a demonstration now, your feet should be like that. That would be good, but it doesn't, because it just kind of bows away from your feet. It gets uncomfortable. So yeah, there's not a lot of foot room. So people with massive feet might just want to check it out. Otherwise you might just have to have your feet sticking out the side slightly, like that. Just something to be wary of. Now we're on a national speed limit road, so this road is 60. I've got it pinned. We haven't got a lot of battery power left, so I might have to start coasting soon. But we're doing 45, 46, 47, up a little incline, 48. We'll get overtaken soon, I'm sure. So I've got this up to, I think, 57, 58 mile an hour. 56 is like the everyday top speed. But it is a very gradual accelerator, the CPx. It's not a fast machine. It is best reserved for towns and cities, to be honest with you. Now I'm going along, and I have to say that front windscreen, although it's quite big and dominant, I was worried about it at the start, whether it's just going to get in my way. However, it hasn't done. I can either sit normally and my eyes are clear above it, or I can go underneath. It hasn't really bothered me, but it does give me quite good wind protection. Although obviously it does vibrate quite a lot, as you'd expect. It is giving me good protection from the wind and the elements, so it's always great, especially for commuting, just to help keep you better protected. Now the windscreen itself is fixed position, it's not adjustable, so that's something again to consider. The switchgear, for me, it does the job. The plastics are okay. There's nothing groundbreaking here. You know it's made in China, and that's the kind of feel you kind of get from it. But everything's worked as it should do. I've had no problems with it. Right, so I'm just going to quickly go through the key fob and the alarm kind of technology on this, just to give you a really good idea. Now, I'm just going to turn the ignition off. With the key fob here, I'm just going to hit the lock button, as you can hear there from the ignition. So the alarm is now on the CPx. Now I'm going to try and rock it off the centre stand and walk with it, and hopefully the alarm will sound and the back wheel, I believe, should lock on me. So yeah, as you can hear, there's the alarm, and it's applying the brake to try and stop me from moving it. Now the alarm isn't the loudest and the locking back wheel isn't ridiculously strong, but as standard it's quite a cool thing to have. I'd love for it to be a really loud alarm to scare the shit out of whoever's trying to steal your bike, or to alarm people nearby. So as I'm caning this battery, not knowing if I'm going to get back in time, I've really done a lot of miles today. Let's talk about the good bits and not so good bits on the CPx. Well, I think it's fair to say the CPx, if you're going to compare it against its kind of petrol counterparts, needs a bit more refinement to get it competing directly against it. There's a few things I think can be better designed. There's not a lot of foot room. The dash is very simplistic. It could have ABS. The battery and kind of motor technology just isn't there enough to cut it on the faster roads. It is purely towns and cities. The good bits though is obviously for people who are so keen on green technology and being really economical, then the CPx is going to be for them. You know, a penny a mile. As soon as you hear that, your ears kind of prick up and think, bloody hell, that's cheap, isn't it? You've got next to no maintenance on it, because the servicing isn't going to be nothing like on a petrol powered machine. You've got far less moving parts to be concerned about. Now I'm noticing as I'm going along here with these batteries, I'm rinsing them. We're doing 52, the top kind of speed is slowing down ever so slightly as the batteries are getting closer to being exhausted. But yeah, what are the other good bits? Well, thanks to the 16-inch front wheel, 14-inch back wheel, it's lovely and stable. I can't complain about the seat. I think it does a good job. Over 140 kilograms with the two batteries in. It doesn't feel heavy by any means, and it feels really well planted on the road. The keyless technology works well. I've had no problems with that. It would be great so you could have keyless for the steering lock as well, but hopefully all in good time. I think when you compare the CPx against other electric scooters on the market, it does really well, and spec wise it performs decently. From the power of the motor to the battery capacity and the charge time, it's all very comparable against others out there on the market. So all in all, if you're looking for a green option, if you're really keen on a green scooter, then the CPx is well worth checking out. It feels really good proportions. It's a decent size, the seat is big. It can take a massive cargo box on the back. Charging up is nice and easy. So yeah, those are the good bits and not so good bits about the CPx. But I think it's, you know, although you can see that it needs refinement, you can see what it does, how it does against the competitors. It's doing well, but there's just so much potential with the CPx. You know, this is still a relatively new technology. You've got the likes of Super Soco here who are pushing the boundaries of what's possible at the moment. So you've got to give them respect. They've been able to put a scooter out like this that can get to, you know, 56 miles an hour. So yeah, we're going to wrap this one up here. I really hope you've enjoyed my little road test review on the Super Soco CPx electric scooter. If you have, please give it a like rating. It really helps out the channel. If you've got any comments or questions, put them in the comments section below. If you like electric scooters, if you don't like electric scooters, if you're intrigued by the CPx, throw those comments down below. We'll try our best to get back to you, but we really love to know your guys' opinions on these things. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, ding that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye everybody.